Yes, son. Get in, son. Get in, mate. We're back on Concept Soup. We've had a bit of a break because I've been a busy boy. And what's this we got on the screen here today? It's a tier list. We're doing the UK PC parts retailer tier list, updated for the end of 2021. We had a bit of success with this last time, so we are going at it again, slightly more refined. After a few months, have they changed their tune, or are they still trash? We will see. But we've got to talk about the sponsor, of course, and that's JCPCcustoms.com. So let's talk about that, baby. JCPCcustoms.com, that's my business. We're selling the gaming PCs, we're selling them good, baby. They're really good. Honestly, these gaming PCs, they're not focused on being the cheapest out there. They're focused on being high quality, nicely balanced, and something that's going to serve you well for many years. We've got ready-to-go PCs. You can pick those up in as little as, 1 or 2 business days. You've got the configurator listings. They take about 7 to 10 business days. You can just choose from a list of stuff that you want. Or you can submit a totally custom spec request. You can have literally any parts that you want, including custom water cooling. We don't do hard tubing because shipping that out is quite dangerous, but we do soft tubing. You can make it literally any parts you want, as long as they're compatible. Chuck them in our Google form and we'll make it work for you. Send you a quote and we'll go from there. Really high quality gaming PCs. We've got fantastic reviews, and at the moment we also do have some video cards on sale. They're not cheap. You don't get video cards cheap anymore. You don't get them near MSRP, but they're there for sale if you want them as well sometimes. But mainly we're on that gaming PC train. So if you're looking for a gaming PC for Christmas, maybe you know somebody in the family that's after a gaming PC, then check out jcpccustoms.com. That's the ad spot over. Thank you very much. Alright, it's time to have some fun with the tier list, baby! Right, so, let's take these headphones off, because we don't need these. We're going to be talking about which are the best UK PC part retailers. This is for a little bit of business, but mainly for the consumer, because as a business customer, I tend to use a lot of distributors as well as the retailers. So, mainly for you guys, the regular consumer. How are we going to grade them? So, it's going to be things like their customer service, their product availability, their pricing, delivery charges, basically the whole customer experience. What's the website like? All that kind of stuff. That's going to help us sort of differentiate all of these out, okay? So, we're going to go in order it is on the screen. I tried to put them in alphabetical order, but this website is actually pretty bad. But anyway, we're not tier listing the tier listing websites. We're tier listing the retailers, so let's go. Right, let's start with Overclockers UK. Now, in the last one we did these, they got a bit of a slating. And that's justified, because this website, I just don't like it. I just don't like Overclocker's website. It's going in tier C. They're not scum. They're not scum. You have to do something pretty bad to be in the scum tier. But the reason Overclockers is down low on the list is because they charge so much for delivery, like way more than it costs. And I know how much it costs. It's not costing them that much to send these parcels out. So that's one thing. Second thing, their pricing is atrocious. I am one person. I have my own business that I run on my own. I can sell graphics cards cheaper than Overclockers can. That's a disgrace. They're pretty much scalping you, which I think is pretty unacceptable, especially considering when we go over some of the other people here on the list, where that's not actually happening. So yeah, pretty bad pricing. There's lots of stuff that I don't particularly like on Overclockers UK website. So things like they have this like 8-pack RAM or something. It's this RAM that's like pre-binned and got its own XMP profile, and it's ridiculously expensive. Those kind of products, they're just basically preying on people that don't know what they're doing, because they've just got Samsung B-Die in them, and if you could just tune that yourself rather than paying pretty much 150 quid over the odds to get Overclockers to put on an XMP profile for you. So I don't particularly like it, but again, I guess you don't have to buy it. Navigating the website actually is pretty good, so that is something that they've got going for them. Their website is pretty easy to navigate, and that's good. The customer service is pretty decent. They do have the habit, I've noticed though, they've got a web note system for cancelling your orders, right? So if you've placed like a pre-order and it's not going to be fulfilled for maybe a week or two, you get the confirmation back that you kind of cancel the order like the next day. But if you've bought something that's maybe 2 days from coming into their store so they can ship it out, but you decide you want to cancel it, They will wait 2 or 3 days to get that message back to you so that the product has already shipped out to you, so that if you want to return it, you have to pay for the return costs. So I guess it's to reduce the number of like cancellations. I think that's pretty bad practice. I can't confirm this, so this is all allegedly, of course, but it's, you know, if that is true, it's not something I like, and it's something that does leave a bit of a bitter taste in your mouth. The other thing is they never responded to my application for a business account like loads of these other ones have. So I don't really know what's going on there. Overall, I think their pricing's pretty poor. Even if it's good pricing, the fact that they're shipping so expensive always makes them more expensive than another company. But they do have some products that you can't get at other shops. So things like very specific distribution plates for water cooling stuff. You know, sometimes Overclockers is the only place you're going to get that. And because Overclockers is in with Case King, which is one of the biggest distributors in Europe, they tend to get their stock of certain brands before other stores do as well. So that's another thing they got going for them. So we're going to put them between B and C, but they're going in C mainly because they're overpricing their graphics cards by so much. Like, you go to Overclockers now, there'll be loads in stock because the prices are just ridiculous. It's like 700 quid for a 3060 Ti. Absolutely gross. So that's why they're there. If it wasn't for the graphics card thing, they'd probably put them in B. Right, Amazon. Right, who doesn't have Amazon on like their top retailers? Best customer service, definitely, because I don't think they even check the returns. They always give you money back. They're very responsive. Free Prime shipping, often some really good prices. It's going in the A tier. It's got such a wide selection. You get lots of products that you only get on Amazon that are actually quite good quality. Like, I use a lot of ID cooling liquid coolers on Amazon. I can't find those anywhere else. I use those EZ DIY Moonlight fans. They're on Amazon. They're not anywhere else. So it is good. It's a good website, and the Prime does make it nice, very sweet indeed. The reason it's not an S is because actually finding PC parts on Amazon is really annoying. Like, it's just not very well stratified. Like, the search is pretty bad. Basically, the main way I get anything off Amazon is by looking at it on PCPartPicker.com. So it's PC Part Picker doing the work, not Amazon, in terms of making their search a bit better. Like, if you want to search for something on Amazon in the search bar, you're going to get it, but you can't. It's the stratification of the categories isn't very good, so that's why it's going in A. But really, in every other way, it's an S tier retailer. So it'll be floating between these two. I'm going to put it for A for now. I'm going to have a think about it, and it might end up in S. Scan.co.uk, one of the biggest PC part retailers in the UK. Very good. Excellent customer service. Very professional. Website looks good. Navigation, again, like Amazon, like, it's better than Amazon, but it's still not very good because you sometimes do miss out on some things. Like, trying to search for things is quite bad. Like, if you use the categories, it's actually pretty good, but it's like searching for things, like, you might find the one thing, but then you also want a load of related things underneath it to compare, but they don't often come up. But Scan, I do really like them. Their graphics card situation, well, it's more expensive than an RRP, but I'm telling you now, Scan or none of these companies are getting graphics cards at RRP. I promise you they're not. I get them at distributor level. They are not RRP. They will not ever be RRP. So when I go on Scan, and when they do have GPUs, actually the prices are they're pretty much the best you're going to get from a retailer, right? So that's why they're going in the S tier. They've also got really good selection, and they've got some parts, again, that other places don't have. They have some really good quality items for actually quite good price sometimes. Like, they've got Selenium PC liquid cooler, 240mm ARGB, 60 quid. That's pretty nice. That's just one example. There's loads of good stuff on there. The thing that lets Scan down is their delivery charge, which sometimes it's crazy. Like, for a motherboard, sometimes it's like 11 quid shipping, which is so dumb. But they do have the option where you can send it to like a DPD pickup shop or a UPS pickup shop, and it's like £4.80, so that's a lot better. So I would suggest doing that. But overall, I'm pretty happy with how Scan works. I've got a business account with Scan, and they're very good. They do look after you, particularly if you're somebody like me who's spending probably 300 grand a year on PC parts. They do look after you. They get you some good prices and good availability. So Scan, you're in the S tier for being the best shop so far. Aria PC, Yeah, these guys actually used to be pretty like hot on the PC scene, maybe, let's say 10, 15 years ago. They've really gone downhill. They don't have anything good anymore. They've basically got no stock of anything. Then when they do, they have like 5 units, and you're only allowed to buy 1 unit, so it's no good for me. And their selection is just really poor, so that's why they're going in C. The delivery charge is pretty cheap. That's pretty good, but it's not really a website. I wouldn't even bother looking at them, really, if I'm going to build a PC. SmartTeck. Oh, dearie me. SmartTeck, you're in the scum tier. You're in the scum tier because I've placed 3 orders with you in my lifetime, and 0 out of those 3 orders were ever fulfilled. And they were not pre-orders. They were in stock. So SmartTeck, you're just not getting any of my money anymore. See you later. Absolute trash. If you use a PC part picker in the UK, take them out of your list of preferred merchants so that you don't end up going through all this bother that I did. I did the same thing with Tech Next Day. That's not on this list. Another company that I just don't like. So, yeah. Cool. Right. So, this would be a turn up for the books because AWD got a pretty bad rating last time we did this. But tell you what, they've turned it around. They're actually pretty good. I'm putting them in the A tier. Now, the main reason I'm putting them in the A tier is because they've got free delivery, and their delivery's pretty good, and their prices are pretty close to like market value on most things. They're not good for graphics cards. I wouldn't be buying graphics cards from AWD because they're very, very expensive. They're very similar to what overclockers are charging, and I gave them a slating for that. It's basically what's stopping them from being in the S tier is their graphics card pricing. It's just too expensive. But for parts, they're actually pretty cheap, and they do this really cool thing with the bundles, right? Where you bundle a CPU with a motherboard, and it's a pretty good price. And it's really good if you can't find like a CPU anywhere. Like at the moment, Ryzen 5 3600, so hard to find. But if you go onto AWD, they've got it in bundles, because the way they do that is because some of the parts are called OEM, which means they come from the distributors, whatever, to be used in PC builds, not to be used as single resale, because they don't come with the retail packaging. But what they can do is put it in a bundle and sell the bundle, because that counts as a PC build. So it's a really good way to get things that sometimes are going to be out of stock everywhere else. I think that's a really good angle. I really like that. The other thing with AWD/ADMI, oh, I've spelt it wrong. It's ADMI, but they're also on, when you see on Amazon, they're ADMI. They're very good with their business relations, so I get very, very good stock and very good pricing from them in that regard. So that's why I've got a bit of a bias towards them. The other thing they do well, their pre-builts prices are actually really good. They're probably some of the best value pre-built PCs that you can get, as long as you spec them out properly. Like they start with like 8 gigs of RAM, which is dumb, right? But once you spec it up, it's still actually a very respectable price. And if I wasn't recommending you to go to my website, jcpccustoms.com, to pick up gaming PC, I'd probably be pushing you towards AWD because they've just got very good value. And actually the PCs look pretty nice as well. And from what I've seen, they package them nicely as well. They do something similar to what I do with my PCs when I ship them, the double box method. So you got your PC box with the internal Instapack foam, and then you put that inside a larger box and then ship the whole thing. It reduces the chance of it being damaged in transit. So overall, they've done well, and they've recently had a website redesign that looks pretty nice. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with them. They're going in the A tier. They've moved up. They've done well. It doesn't take a lot to be at the A tier. You just need to have good prices and good shipping. Watercooling UK. Now, it's a very small website. It's a small business, but they're going in the B tier because I like them. I like Watercooling UK. I've bought only a few things from them, but they're really a good site for that exotic type stuff. So stuff like the Barrow CH Star 1 case that looks absolutely wild. I picked one of those up the other day. Lots of like niche water cooling parts that you can't get anywhere else. Very good at this website. And their customer service is very good. They're very friendly. If there was a query with the order, I emailed them. They're back to me within the same day most of the time. So I'm very happy with the overall experience. I can't push them up to the S and the A tiers just because they don't have the sort of the range of PC parts that the other ones do. But considering they're called Watercooling UK, I think that's probably fine. But for what they do, I really like them. I think they're a really good company, and I hope they don't go under because their target audience is very small. But yes, very impressed with Watercooler UK. Box.co.uk. They're going to the B tier. Right, so just like overclockers, just like AWD, you don't want to buy a graphics card from Box because they're always just mad overpriced. I think they're a bit better than overclockers, but they're still pretty. It's just not worth spending that much for them. You might as well just get a pre-built PC. So Box's graphics cards are pretty bad. That's what's keeping them from the A tier. Because in every other way, they are an A tier retailer. Because they got the free shipping over 50 quid, which tends to take about 3 or 4 days. Their website's really nicely laid out. It's nicely designed. The order process is very easy. I've had to cancel items. It's been no problem whatsoever. I'm quite impressed with the whole user experience of Box, and they've got a good selection of parts as well. So that's why they're going in the B tier. CCL, they're going in the A tier. Yeah, that's probably a bit controversial because these are some of the worst guys for GPU pricing. Probably, in the level of the Overclockers UK style thing. But, overall, they're a good site, man. They're a good site. So they've got good price stuff in general. Like, you could pretty much build a whole PC on CCL. I'd probably get the graphics card somewhere else. But yeah, CCL, quite good. Their free delivery's got a little bit faster. It used to be like 2 weeks. Now it's like 1 week. So if you order it on like a Saturday, it comes the next Friday on the free delivery. It's pretty nice. They do Saturday delivery, Sunday delivery for like 9 quid. That's actually quite good value compared to other places. Their selection is good. Pricing, usually pretty nice as well. Customer service is also good. Don't email them, phone them. But yeah, their phone support is very good. I think it's a good company. They're just kind of not done themselves any favors with this GPU pricing. But I'll have a little section about talking about that at the end anyway. Computer Orbit, I'm not going to talk much about these. It's a new company going in the B tier because I don't know very much about them, but I've ordered a few things from them. They have a free delivery code. They seem to be at market value or just a bit below. So yeah, pretty nice. My experience with them has been very good. The only reason they're not a bit higher is they haven't got much availability. They've got certain things here and there, and they're a very new company, so I don't want to judge them too much yet. So they're pretty solid company in the B tier. Currys, so it's going to be between B and C. So they used to be pretty high up, Currys. But I don't know what's happened to them, man. Right, this is like the third account I've had with Currys that I've put my password in, everything works fine. Next day, do the same thing, and my account just doesn't exist anymore. I don't understand it. It's absolutely bonkers. They used to be up in the A tier because they had graphics cards at like RRP or very close to RRP. Even during the worst of the shortage, I picked up a few from there at a good price. But since then, they've gone nuts. Everything's really expensive. It's just completely rubbish. But in the general market, Currys is okay. So for what they do, they are good. They don't have everything you need for a PC, but they do occasionally have some really good deals. Their delivery is pretty good. Like, it's pretty much always free, and oftentimes you can get like £5 off with a code all the time. So yeah, I'm gonna put Currys in B. And the other thing is you can click and collect from their stores as well, which is another handy thing if you need to do that. Availability of parts, pretty good, but not ideal. It's not really a PC parts website as such. It's more for like fully built systems and washing machines and all that kind of stuff. So that's why it's going in B. eBuyer, they're going in B. eBuyer, they're very, very middle of the road. So graphics card pricing it's not good, but it is not as bad as Overclocker's CCL. All right, so eBuyer, it's okay. They have some pretty good deals sometimes. Like SSDs are really cheap at the moment. They had really good Corsair deals a couple of weeks ago. Pretty nice. Website's pretty easy to use. Pretty good customer service. But do you know what? I'm actually going to move it. I don't know. I do like them, but they're going in C because right. I had an RTX 3080 that had to go in for RMA, so I sent it off to them. It took about it took about 50 days to get this thing repaired from MSI. I bring it back. It's on the test bench. 5 minutes later, it's broken again. And then I email them about the RMA, and they say, no, we don't accept it because it's already been for RMA. Well, I'm like, they didn't fix it. They didn't fix the card. So you have to take it back. And they didn't. And it was just this whole debacle. I had to get my business account manager involved, and then eventually we've returned it to them. Still waiting for that account credit after dispatching it to them like 10 days ago. A pretty horrible RMA process. And that's something that's really important to remember when you're buying stuff is the RMA process. Horrible with eBuyer, and they use the worst parcel to. I'm going to do another PC parts, that fucking tier list thing with delivery companies, but eBuyer uses Yodel, which is the worst one. Actually, no, Parcel Force is the worst one. Yodel is the second worst one. Just awful, just overall terrible. So in terms of their shipping, but they do have some nice deals, which saves them from being in the scum tier. Okay, Infinite Computing, pretty much same as Computer Orbit. Good prices on some things, can't complain. Delivery charge, sort of, it's like usually between 5 and 6 quid or something like that. DPD next day. It's fine. It's a new website, and they got some fairly decent prices. Laptops Direct. Oh, I can't put you in scum because you haven't done anything really bad, but very little in terms of products. Pricing's bad, and shipping takes like 3 weeks. So it's absolutely just that's all I'm going to say about that. More computers, pretty good. They're actually really pleasant user experience. Fine, everything's fine about it. No problems with them whatsoever. They just don't have very good availability. But their pricing's pretty good. So they're an A tier company. They just don't have enough stock to really make it in this upper echelon here. Novatech is going in C because I can never find anything on Novatech. There's just the stock's always bad, and because they charge like 8-9 quid for delivery, it takes them above the pricing of everyone else, so that's why it's going in C. Otherwise, user experience is fine. Okay, we've been here for ages. But here's the list. Scan, topping it out. Amazon, AWS, CCL just below. Watercooling UK, and then some of these others. And this actually is a pretty fair representation of, like, if a family member or friend asked me where should I buy my PC parts, this is kind of the cascade, the order in which I would recommend them. So I think that's turned out pretty well. I want to know your thoughts down in the description. Down in the comments, baby. What do you think about this tier list? Something you agree with, something you disagree with? Always happy to hear your opinions, as always. Thanks for watching. It's been Concept Soup. Nice to be back on the tube. Laters.